All right. So, Tatiana Suarez stops Jessica Andrade in the second round. And for the record, I thought Suarez would win. And I meant to make my pick when I did the video, but apparently I forgot. But my pick was Suarez. I'm not just saying that because she won. Because Andrade has been looking horrible. That's, irrefutable. She's been looking very, very bad. Her confidence is at an all-time low. Jessica Andrade, I'm talking about. An all-time low. And for the most part, anybody she goes up against going forward, as far as Jessica Andrade, it's hard to pick Andrade right now. Do you see her face after that fight ended? As if, what happened? I can't believe it. Had a full camp. She had plenty of time to prepare for Suarez, but she couldn't do nothing. She did not have any moments. Well, I won't completely say that. There was a few times where she launched a flurry on Suarez, and it looked like Suarez was uncomfortable. It for a minute it was looking like Suarez didn't know how to react. She couldn't counter. I feel like there were some weaknesses in Suarez games that was exposed, but I'm happy about the win because now I feel like this sets up a different stage, at least in the UFC with WMMA, that I'm gonna predict right now. Okay, now this is July, August is August 6th. So I'm going to make this prediction now, August 6th, that the female, both division, or all three divisions, they're positioned to enter into a new era, sort of a new stage. Because here recently there's been a lot of boring fights, a lot of matchups that were not anticipated. The real showdown to settle who's going to be the dominant fighter in the both divisions has not really gone down yet. Okay, there are too many undefeated fighters for my comfort. And if they're not undefeated, they're like Lemos. Somebody who lost by freak submission most likely wouldn't happen again. And if they had a rematch, most people, I bet you Lemos would be the favorite going into that fight if she would have rematched Jessica Andrade. So aside from that loss to Andrade, Lemos, hasn't really been dominated. You haven't seen her dominated over long periods of time in a fight. That's the true sign of who's the higher caliber, who's the lower caliber fighter. Not getting a freak submission. Kudos to Andrade for getting it in there and getting the finish. Good for her. And this was a weird guillotine. Because at first, it was just one hand. See, at first, she pretty much had it with one hand for a minute. Now Andrade couldn't break out of it. Now, she likes the guillotine, according to her own admission. Tatiana Suarez, she likes it as a submission. But what if she can't get it? What if she can't manipulate you with her wrestling? Then what? Is my question. She looked good. But the thing is, Suarez don't have no hands. She threw a good straight left. She fought out of a southpaw stance. She threw a good straight lead left. And that's I only remember one. No jab. She hasn't developed a jab yet. And she really hasn't developed any real hands that are a serious threat. Everybody that's fought Andrade with hands, been able to touch her with those hands. Aaron Blanchfield, Yan Xiaonan, Most recent 2 fights, they was able to touch her with jabs, with clean shots. Whereas Suarez almost exclusively threw body kicks. Kick, kick, kick. And that's always been Suarez's game. Kick, 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 kick. Throw a bunch of kicks. Kick your leg. Increase her chances of getting a takedown. Decrease your movement. And all that. So we're about to see right now. Because a lot of people are talking about Suarez as a future champion. A lot of people are saying, no, she's going to destroy Weili. Okay, we're getting that type of talk. She's going to destroy Weili Zhang. Now, I don't know if she beats Weili. Obviously, Suarez is big for the weight class. And obviously, when you're big for the weight class and you have elite wrestling, you're a problem for everybody. You're a problem for everybody. And I think she showed against Andrade. I know this is Andrade on a losing streak, but Andrade still has good physical strength, and she was pretty much bullied in this fight. Suarez's style in every fight is to bully you. And that's the only thing that makes me uncomfortable about picking her as the next dominant champion. And that's what she's saying. That's what she's saying that she's going to do. She's predicting that she's not only going to get the belt, but that she's going to make multiple title defenses. I can't say that right now. I think that's a tough call. Because to me, Suarez, even though she's a good wrestler, quite often it looks like she's in a position to get choked out herself. Sometimes she leaves herself open for guillotines. And I think sometimes she leaves her, I can't say take her back, but for some reason I can see Suarez getting choked out. But it seems hard to take Suarez back. She's good with her underhooks and sprawling. Top level wrestler. You're always a problem when you have top level wrestling and you're big. But I can't say that she's going to be. Now, here's what I'm talking about. As far as this next sort of era, sort of wave of fights, matchmaking that's taking place right now. Everything is in place right now. Now I'm going to read off. And there's a lot of potential fights. There's a lot of fights that have not happened. And we're about to see the fights that we've been wanting to see for a long time. Now, believe it or not, the fight that just went down was one of them. People have talked about the idea of Suarez against Jessica Andrade before. And even back then, I think most people were taking Tatiana Suarez. But Tatiana, and let me say something else. Since her fight last night, I went back and watched all of her UFC fights, Tatiana Suarez. And I think it's real obvious that in her fight against Nina Ansaroff, she was compromised. She looked like something was wrong with her. Notice in that fight, in that last round, the takedown attempts almost completely stopped. She looked up at the clock a couple times. It looked like she had an injury, like she was nursing, like something was wrong with her. Because the Suarez we saw last night was a totally different fighter. Totally different fighter. She seems much more willing to be in the line of fire. She seems more durable right now, Tatiana Suarez. And her defense is more responsible than it was against Nina. Now, maybe it was Nina. Credit to Nina or whatever, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not ready to say she's going to take the belt, or I think it's very possible, of course. And it's possible. I could see Suarez making multiple title defenses. Don't get me wrong. I can see that. I'm just not ready to predict that. I can see it happening. She got real strong wrestling. She's super strong and big at 115. I can see it happening. But here's the thing. We're about to, as far as UFC WMMA, we're about to be treated to a bunch of very highly anticipated fights. No doubt about it. Now, we got a few of them already lined up. Now, at least for me, is the rematch between Shevchenko and Grasso. I think that's the biggest rematch ever. Title or non. Because of Valentina's resume. She's been an excellent fighter in UFC. Valentina has been really the face of excellence. Aside from the loss to Nunes, but even after she lost to Nunes, it did not hurt her. It didn't really hurt her reputation as a dominant fighter. Notice after she lost that rematch to Nunes, she was predicted to be unstoppable at flyweight. Clearly, she wasn't undressed and exposed in her rematch against Nunes. Right? As it was, a lot of people thought she actually won. So she's been the face of excellence. She probably had the most excellent and flawless career. What am I talking about? Probably. Without question. Up until that loss to Grasso, and most definitely up until her fight against Taylor Santos. She was the most flawless fighter, period. And she was defeated, got stopped by Grasso. She was up on the cards. We'll see if that was a fluke or not. Highly anticipated, so that's a treat. And also, what I think is the biggest title fight. This version is the WMMA version of Spence Crawford. Now, I know it sounds a little pathetic because they haven't accomplished as much as Spence and Crawford. This ain't no undisputed bout. But it's two dangerous fighters. Very dangerous fighters that not long ago, nobody even thought was possible. A true fantasy matchup that came out of nowhere that is about to happen. And man, all I want is for both of them to put on a good show. At this point, the fighters may as well look at their career as fun. Just go out and have fun at this point. Now, Suarez, she can plan on being a dominant champion if she wants, even though I don't think she should. Just do what you love to do, have fun, and have fun finding out yourself who the best is. Like, hey, yeah, let's do this. Let's all fight. I want to fight everybody. Let's see who's the best. Enough talk. Let's fight. I'm cool with that. But Suarez want to sort of paint herself in a corner, make promises, make predictions. Hey, make it all more interesting. But we have the possibility of, after Weili against Lemos, huge fight. At least that's just for me personally. Huge, the biggest, most anticipated, craziest, easily, title fight ever. We have the possibility of Weili against Tatiana Suarez. Another crazy fantasy fight. Not long ago, these were all fantasy fights. I actually made a video, and I was talking about potential fights like this. Okay, Weili Suarez as a fantasy fight, man. That's a fantasy fight. Or Amanda Lemos, Tatiana Suarez. Because look, I don't know what happens in those fights. And let's come on, man. People counting Weili and Amanda Lemos out against Tatiana Suarez, I think, is unrealistic. That's unrealistic, man. Respect. Come on. Let's show some respect to Weili's jiu-jitsu. A little more respect in that. At least me personally, I'm going to show Weili's jiu-jitsu more respect in that. And her athleticism, her physical strength, her freaky jiu-jitsu, and her trickiness. Listen, I don't know what happens. Even with Suarez wrestling, she can get submitted. Weili can submit her. Not only that, as a striker, I can see Weili catching Suarez multiple times with strikes because Weili is extremely light on her feet. She got beautiful movements. Weili's legs, her movement is beautiful. And she's very quick with counters, Weili Zhang, and she can throw strikes while she's moving. Something a lot of girls can't do. Okay? Weili can throw strikes as she's moving, even as she's backing up. So Suarez can try all those kicks and whatnot if she want to. Now, Suarez might have some success. Weili is clearly the better boxer. She's a superior boxer to Tatiana Suarez. And the fact is, when fighters are strong enough to deny, or at least partially deny, Tatiana Suarez, her wrestling, her position, Suarez is in a fight. You know, she's in a fight. She's extremely sticky. I understand that. Now, she's a better wrestler than Weili Zhang. Most definitely. She's far more sticky, and she has more control over her opponents when she gets them down and when she gets them in the clinch than Weili. Suarez is far more likely to maintain top position than Weili Zhang. You just saw Weili against Carla end up on her back. Okay, she was on her back in that fight. And there were a couple moments during the wrestling where Carla had some success. She also had a takedown in that second round. Whereas against Suarez, Carla didn't have no success at all. Go back, watch that fight. That was one of the best examples of a fighter getting bullied that you can find. Carla was so bullied and outbodied. The size difference in that fight was like almost everything. I know Suarez is skilled, but so is Carla as a wrestler. Carla did a lot of things proper, a lot of things right in that fight as a wrestler, but simply was getting overpowered. Suarez not only so strong, but long, real long limbs. She's real gangly, real difficult to deal with Suarez. Okay, so Lemos against Suarez, just like Suarez against Weili, I don't know what happens in that fight. Lemos, physically strong. These are physically strong, unusually strong fighters. We really haven't seen Suarez against an unusually strong fight. Well, except for Andrade. But with Andrade, her physical strength doesn't really translate into her wrestling. Okay, her physical strength is primarily translated into her being able to pick you up and slam you. But aside from that, as a wrestler, she really don't show much. And she's small. You know, I think it's a different ball game. I don't think she uses her entire body as well as many other wrestlers. Talking about Jessica Andrade. So against Weili, I think Suarez might find that this is a different fighter. Weili is a different wrestler, grappler, different fighter from Jessica Andrade. And the same for Lemos. Lemos is very tricky. She's very strong. She can submit Suarez. I don't care what nobody say. Suarez find herself slipping, and Suarez like that guillotine. Lemos is good at those guillotines herself. And Lemos, again, very physically strong. What happens when Suarez runs up against a fighter who may not be as big as her at the weight, but is as strong, or who may be as big as her at the weight and equally as strong, and their strength translate into their wrestling? Okay, so yeah, Weili Suarez fantasy matchup, Lemos Suarez fantasy matchup, at least for me. I'm happy Suarez won. Look, I'm not anti-Suarez. But listen, I think that division is very competitive. Yes, Suarez looks great. She's an excellent, high-level, mind-blowing wrestler, no doubt. And I'm not trying to throw shade on her victory, nothing like that at all. And again, I'm happy, but I'm not ready to say she's the dominant fighter yet. Now, I'm telling you, in the UFC, WMMA is about to take off. It's about to take off. We're about to get some really fire matchups. Rose against Manon is a barn burner. That's a fantasy type matchup. Let's just be honest. And Manon might get her clock cleaned. Because when you move up, all fighters, when they move up, especially when they're a striker, they make it a point to let their opponents know, I am not weaker than you. You better respect my power. That's pretty much one of their goals, one of their top goals. Let me get some respect. You're going to respect my power. You're not going to try to just walk in on me and invade my space. As a striker, Rose is going to try to clock Manon. That's what I'm predicting. Rose is going to try to hurt Manon. Understand, Rose has just been embarrassed. Badly embarrassed. In her most recent fight, she was badly embarrassed. It was very shameful. And I agree with some of other people that Rose opted to move up the flyweight because there are fewer wrestlers at flyweight. She may have went to flyweight to absolutely avoid not only Tatiana Suarez, but to avoid Carla Esparza, as crazy as that may sound. If Carla Esparza has your number as a wrestler, it's probably a wrap against Tatiana Suarez. Okay? Carla seemed to have Rose's number. It seems to be Rose's mother, Carla Esparza. And really, Carla Esparza, did you see how irrelevant, weak, and, just pathetic Carla looked against Suarez? Nightmare matchup. We saw how Rose was quick. She was submitted by Jillian. I think that's a significant match as well, because Suarez will just as easily get her hands on you. And she is very sticky, Tatiana Suarez. And she's smart with her wrestling. She always knows what to do. So, yeah, that's a huge fight that Manon is not guaranteed to win. Rose is going to go into this fight feeling like she got something to prove. And I think she's going to feel more comfortable at this weight because it's more strikers. Manon is primarily a striker. Valentina is primarily a striker. Alexa Grasso is primarily a striker. The only fighters, this heavy wrestler grappler, is Santos and Aaron Blanchfield. And even with Blanchfield, Rose got much better foot movement than Blanchfield, in my opinion. I think she's much quicker on her feet than Blanchfield. Might be able to stay away from her. Same, even more so, with Santos. I think Aaron moved much better than Santos. Everybody moved much better than Santos. Santos is the most lead-footed fighter up there. Rose might be able to stay away from Santos. I don't think Rose is staying away from Carla. Well, she can't stay away from her. But Suarez, nah. So Rose might be like, hey, there are more strikers up here. Let me go up here. And Rose might try to hurt, and she might actually hurt and beat up and stop Manon Fiorot. I think that's very, very possible. She's going to come in and try to make a statement. She got good boxing. Manon can be hit. This is a real fight. This ain't no, Manon better take this serious. So we'll see what happens. Now, that's a fantasy type matchup. Again, Rose against Shevchenko. I think they would fight. I think they'd fight. Hopefully they would. And if they would, that would be good. Manon against Shevchenko. I'm just talking about the most likely fights that we're going to see at the top of these divisions. They're like all fantasy type matchups. Rose Shevchenko. Manon Shevchenko. Rose against Alexa Grasso. Right? These are great. These are good fights. These are good fights, man. Erin Blanchfield against Alexa Grasso. Okay, a lot of different, a lot of potential here. Yan Xiaonan. Yan Xiaonan against Amanda Lemos. Yan against Wei Li. It's like every potential fight is a really, really good matchup. Yeah, you can. Yan could end up fighting any of them. Manon, we don't know. So yeah. Also, in that division, real soon, Andrea Lee against Natalia Silva. She might be in the picture real soon. Natalia Silva and possibly Karine Silva. I think they're going to try to look to get her ranked after that vicious stoppage over Ketlin Souza. We'll see about that. Okay, and Luciendo Viana. A lot of good matchups coming up, man. We don't know what's going on with Josanne Nunes, but I think she's going to be in the mix at bantamweight. Still a stinking division. Still a stinking division. Nobody wants to see Pena against Pennington, but there's a good chance it'll happen. But we might see Silva against either one of those two. And it's sad that that's the best thing you can look forward to at bantamweight. Is Silva fighting somebody. Until I would say Nunes moves up. I think we can cross Chandler off the list of potential title contenders. And Norma Dumont, we never know. She might make her way up there. Or Macy Chiasson. Okay. But it's still a booty division. The divisions with the most potential to bring excitement is the strawweight division and the flyweight division. Let's hope they don't disappoint. Let's hope matchmakers don't screw this up. Y'all going to be expected and depended on to make smart decisions as far as the matchmaking. Don't mess it up. All right? Don't mess it up. Also, you got Macy Barber. Macy Barber making her way up into the picture. She might make it up the division. You know, she's right there at number 8 right now. Fighters above her, Lauren Murphy. You know, Chukagian could make it difficult for her to make her way up. But I can almost see Macy Barber being matched up against Jessica Andrade next. Right? And I think Andrade is on her way out the door. You know? Yeah, most definitely. Looking forward to Karine Silva against Morose. Remember, Morose she has a victory over Karine Silva already. So that's another anticipated matchup. So I suspect WMMA, at least in the UFC and everywhere, is about to enter a golden era. Because remember, you have Stamp Fairtex about to fight Sohei Ham. That's another huge fight over there in 1. Okay. So, yeah. Wei Li is game. You know, I think she's, she's crazy. She's crazy. She seems happy about having all these potential matchups, having a target on her back. Suarez looked like a giant at the weight. A lot of people saying that Suarez looked like she's light. Naturally, 140 pounds. If you look at Suarez last night and compare her with how she looked against Montana De La Rosa, she looked the same size. So when she goes into the cage at 115, she's at least 125 in that moment, inside the cage. If not 130, 135. She's huge. So she's going to be a problem for anybody, but I don't think it's a guarantee that Suarez just mauls everybody. No. She's going to have to worry about getting stopped, denied, beaten up, because Lemos is still a better striker than Tatiana Suarez. Lemos can hit somebody and hurt them. Suarez can be hit, man. We don't know what's going on. Well, at least I don't know what's going to happen. A lot of Suarez fans, you're putting all your chips on Suarez. Hey, knock yourself out. I'm not going to do that. We'll see what happens. But right now, both divisions are fun. I think both champions are good champions, well-rounded, and they want to fight anybody. They're relatively young still. Shevchenko wants her belt back. And, I mean, Shevchenko, like I said, she need to think about retiring very soon. If she gets that belt back, she might want to think about it. Because she might have to fight Grasso again. And her against Manon, yeah, I don't know about that, man. She might fight Rose, but I think she'll take Rose. I could pretty much see her mauling Rose, wrestling Rose up real good. But Valentina against Erin Blanchfield, I think it's a bad matchup, a bad style matchup for Valentina to Erin Blanchfield. So she gonna want to be careful of that. But look, if Valentina get her belt back and she want to keep fighting, hey, fine. Hey, I'm happy. But she gonna have to deal with all those fighters and potentially Natalia Silva and Karine Silva. Those girls look dangerous, okay? And if they can make it up through the rankings and look good and look better as they move up, man, it is anybody's belt. We'll see what happens. That is all. Shout out to George Page in now. See Tatiana against Marina. Oh, man, she'll destroy Marina. She will destroy Marina. Yeah, that would be a horrible fight. Marina Rodriguez, it's not looking good for her. Mackenzie Dern against Suarez is interesting. No guarantee that you're going to win on the ground against Mackenzie Dern. Never is. And, she may not want to, but she's a better striker than Mackenzie Dern. But there are a lot of girls at strawweight that can submit, in my opinion. I believe a lot of girls that can submit Tatiana Suarez. We will see what happens. That is all for this live stream. I will see you on the next.